Hey guys, welcome back to the Snapper and Chronicles. Today we have for you another Ratchet video. But as always, before we get started, if you enjoy or find this content interesting, could you give me a like and share and subscribe? Alright, today we have a Westline USA Ratchet, and these are copies of Indestro Ratchets. This is a copy, this is the 3/8 model. This is a copy of the Indestro 6272 model. And from what I've heard, Westline was a line of tools that was marketed by Western Auto department store. And Western Auto had a few lines. They had Wizard and Westcraft, and most likely Westline also. So here's the ratchet. It's the handle. It's a knurled handle. This one's well worn. As you can see, there's some lines here. I guess I'm not sure if those were marking lines for identification. Here's the head. The letters Westline USA. And the switch. And a fairly coarse ratchet. Okay, let's open it up. This one happens to have a slotted screws. So you would need a pretty small slotted screwdriver for this to get these screws out. These are the screws. Nothing special here. They look a lot like the screws from like a snap-on. Okay. And you pull up on the anvil and you take the plate out. Okay, these plates are pretty good. They're pretty thick and chunky. These plates remind me a lot of the plates from Snap-on, and they make pretty decent thick plates. Okay, here's the mechanism. Here's the gear. This is a fairly coarse gear. It's 24 teeth. That's what the teeth look like. And here's your ball detent. Pretty well centered. Not too bad there. Let me see how tough this is. Well, yeah, put some oil in it. It's kind of hard to get in, but oh boy, yeah. This might need more oil or more working back and forth. Okay, there we go. It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. Not incredibly tight, but it's pretty tight. Okay. Here's the inside of the mechanism. There's the pawl. The pawl only has one tooth per side. You see there, just one big tooth sticking up. That's the inside of the housing. And I think the Achilles heel of this ratchet and the Indestro ratchet, and I think Wizard also had the same ratchet on under the Wizard name, you probably, instead of Westline, it'll say Wizard. And I think what's I see a lot wrong with these. Here's the 1/2 inch model of the same ratchet, Westline, is these switches. This is the big problem with this ratchet. I think they have these thin kind of metal plate switches, and they're always loose. You can see here. If you buy these used, they're most likely going to be loose. Or even I've seen a lot of these with missing switches, because they'll just fall off. And this one also has a loose switch. So that's something to look for. I mean, and it's usually the switches are, you peen the switch through, you stick on a lot of ratchets, you stick, the switch has like a little post, and you put it through the pawl, and it comes out here, and you peen it here. That's what you see in a lot of ratchets, like snap-on. And the switches themselves and the post that goes through the pawl are usually soft metal, so it's not too hard to peen that post over on this side over here, and to remove it is pretty easy. You just punch it out, and it's pretty soft. The problem here is that this protrusion in the pawl is, the pawl is hard metal. It's treated, and it's very tough. So to peen this over, when you try to peen it over on this little piece of plate metal, it's pretty tough. I don't know, you have to give it some really good wax to get that to peen over, because the pawl is, like I said, it's pretty hard. It's probably heat treated, and it's a pretty tough piece of the mechanism. So that's the problem. That's the problem with these ratchets. Another problem is that these ball detents, when you open up the mechanism, since the switches are loose, you'll open up the mechanism, and this ball will just pop out, because the pawl is tilted a little bit, and it gives it enough room to where it'll just shoot out. So just be careful with that also. See how it's almost has a good amount of space there, and it could just shoot out at any moment if you move this too much. Just something to be careful with. You don't want to lose these ball bearings. Okay, to get this back together. Oh, and another thing is that this mechanism, like I said, is 24 teeth, and the 1/2 inch. Well, you see what I mean with the ball? You see how much space there is there? Because the switch is loose, so that ball can just pop out, and you can lose it very easy. The difference here is that the 3/8 to the 1/2 inch, the 3/8 gear has 24 teeth, and this one, the 1/2 inch, has 30 teeth. And the pawl for the 1/2 inch has 2 teeth instead of 1 for the 3/8. Let me hold this down while I put the gear back in. Okay. Alright, to put this back together, it's pretty simple. You just take your gear, you drop it back in. Like that. This is what it looks like when it's ratcheting. It has that one tooth. These are pretty strong ratchets. You see the walls here. Again, these walls are pretty thick here. You see when I press against the ratcheting, the resistance, it pushes the pawl to this wall here, and this is pretty thick. So I don't think there'll be much problem here as far as strength. And the other side. That's how it looks. And you take your plate. You drop that in. Your screws. Screw those in. And you see if it ratchets. Yeah. I think these ratchets are pretty tough. I would put them up there close to like a snap-on as far as the components and the thickness of the metals and stuff like that. I know like Craftsman from around this time, they were pretty tough also. But I think this is a little bit, this one's a little bit more tougher, I think, except for the switch. Like I said, the switches are kind of like, they seem like they're always loose on these. So that's something to watch out for. But these are pretty good ratchets. They're pretty hefty and good to have. Alright guys, that's my teardown and review of the Westline USA 3/8 ratchet. Okay, till next time.